in the whores, demons trying to trap you with semen, their eyes gleaming. You better spit it out like Willie Beeman. This is spiritual war. Yeah, I'm ducking all the witches in the whores, demons trying to trap you with semen, their eyes gleaming. You better spit it out like Willie Beeman. Came back with vengeance. Yeah, you can hear the sound from my engine. Back to the business. I've been trying to eat healthy and I'm working on my fitness. Eased up with the tension, fulfilling my vision. God is my... Peace, blessings, coming back with another video. Today, I want to do a topic, in regards of relationships and the dynamic of relationships. So this video is going to be called Relationships, Sex, and Being Unfaithful. Relationships, sex, and being unfaithful. So, of course I had to write my notes. I definitely want to make sure I connect everything how it's supposed to be connected. I don't want to just be rambling and going off the top of the head and it's not making sense, or I'm forgetting some stuff that I was thinking about. Sorry, I feel like I got cat hair on my nose, damn cat. But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. So the first thing that I wrote down was, of course, what is a relationship? And we all know that that's a bond between two people. In other cases, it's more than two people, and those that do, three-way relationships or even more. Or, it could be between a man and woman, or it could be between a man and man, or woman to woman, whatever your preference is. But basically, it's like a kinship, like I said, a bond. And of course, there's other relationships like friendships, business stuff like that. But we're relating to as far as love between two people that's trying to do something long term, maybe towards engagements or even marriage, kids, those type of things. So very basic and simple. Number two, why do most relationships fail? There's a lot of reasons for that. Let me say first, in some cases, sometimes we just outgrow the person. Your time with them ran its course. Whatever y'all two had to do together on your journey and their journey, it just reached that point, the highest point that you both could reach. And sometimes you just outgrow people. It might not even been a case where it ended bad or anything. You just outgrew each other. You wanted different things, and it was time for a new chapter. So there are cases like that, but what I want to focus on is other cases like most people aren't consulting each other before getting into a relationship. So of course you're going to say, what do you mean, Cook? I mean that not enough people are vetting each other. Not enough people are getting to know each other. They're just taking little things that they like about the person, qualities. Mainly a lot of times it's physical stuff, attributes that they're paying attention to with the person. But yeah. A lot of times, like I said, it's physical attributes that they're paying attention to with the person, and they're not really paying attention to the emotional part of that person, the mental part of that person, and the spiritual part of that person. So sometimes, a lot of times, they jump right into relationships based off the physical attributes and nothing else, and then down the road, they find out all these things that they don't like about this person. And that it clashes with a lot of things that they don't agree with. It could be, y'all might not be into the same religion. Y'all might not be into the same beliefs. Y'all might not agree on a lot of topics mentally, or maybe the way that that person thinks, you don't think like that. So it clashes with you a lot. Even spiritually, the way that person carries themselves from the inside out might not be to your liking, might not be something that you like to be around or take them around others, because they come off very nasty, very disrespectful, very in some cases it could be narcissistic. So there's things like that play into that dynamic of things that play into that dynamic um, of why relationships fail. When it comes to those things, a lot of people aren't taking the time to vet each other, aren't taking the time to really get to know each other and really find out what they don't like and what they do like, what they don't want long term. So a lot of people are just skipping that part and just jumping straight into a relationship, jumping straight into the sack, and then later on they're like, oh snap, I didn't know this about this person because they didn't take the time to learn it. So a lot of people aren't asking each other what they want. Nobody's asking the person from the get-go, do you want kids? Do you want marriage? What type of relationship you want? So a lot of times people are left in the blind, or they get led on to a point where they feel confused because they're like, how we get to this point? We're like 4 years in, 5 years in, some cases 10 years in, whatever, and it's certain stuff that they didn't know the person wasn't with doing or agreeing to do long term, because they didn't talk about these things, because a lot of people don't like asking certain questions to people because they don't want to ruin the moment if everything's going good, which is understandable, but it's very bad because then that's how you get into deep holes like the situations I'm talking about now. It's always good to just be straight up and lay it all on the table from the beginning so you can know, or before you even get that many years in and waste all that time, where you can know ahead of time. So it's always good to ask the person, hey listen, do you want kids? Do you want to be married? If you want to be married, or if you don't want to be married, so you can know, okay, we can't do that because I don't want that and they want that. Or even what type of relationship it is. Do you want a relationship where you're just with one person long term? Or do you want an open relationship where you're with them but you also can have options, or even they can have their options? You have to talk about these things, and a lot of people don't like talking about these things. Excuse me. They don't like talking about these things because they're very taboo, or they feel like they don't want to mess up the moment, or mess up the way everything is going good. And you have to, because it's going to save a lot of headaches in the long run. So that's why I feel like most relationships fail, because a lot of people aren't talking about what they want. They're not consulting each other and finding out who this person is on all different levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And yeah, a lot of people just not doing that because, like I said, it's taboo. They don't want to mess up the moments. They don't want to feel like they're pressuring anybody, but you have to ask these things because so you can know what you're getting into. Same way with the other person you're dating as well. So next we're going to talk about sex. People aren't talking about that enough, even if it's not a relationship. People aren't talking about that with their kids enough when they're young to inform them and let them know what's going on. Of course, at the right age, not when they're like 5. I'm talking about at least 10 to 12. That range where you start kind of seeing them kind of really looking at girls or looking at boys. You want to, but in the case of relationships, a lot of people aren't talking enough about this with their partners. They're not talking about what they want, what they like, what they don't like, what they're into. What type of fantasies they want fulfilled, what type of fantasies they haven't had, what type of fantasies they don't want to do. A lot of people aren't talking about that with their partners, and a lot of times they get mad at the partner if the partner isn't performing certain things they want in a certain way, or aren't doing certain things at all, and it's just not not good at all. It's not to their liking, and they get mad at the partner instead of pulling the partner to the side to say, you know what do you like? What are you into? What are your spots? Like, what are you into? Like, are you into role playing? Are you into dressing up? Are you into, rough? Are you into love making, nice, soft, sensual stuff? Are you into just that with music in the background? It's many different things that you can ask this person to find out where their head is at, so you can help the relationship. Because
like I said, sex is not the only thing important in a relationship, but it does matter. Don't let nobody tell you different, because yeah, they could be a great person, they treat you with respect, but if they ain't bringing in that bedroom doors, you're gonna be mad, whether you're a man or woman. You not gonna get down with that, which leads to the other stuff about the unfaithfulness. Being unfaithful. I don't even know if unfaithfulness is a word. I just always say that. But being unfaithful, because a lot of people aren't being upfront with their partner and not being comfortable enough to ask their partner, "Hey, what do you like?" Or, "Well, I don't like when we did that last time. It didn't really pleasure me. Can we do it this way? This is the way I prefer." Or, "What position do you like?" There's different things you can find out, like what is your person into, and then you could figure out if you're into those things. Because some people got crazy fantasies where you just might not be into that, and then well, we might not be able to continue because they need to be with somebody that can fulfill that and is down with that. I'm not down with that. And there's fantasies that you will be down with. So you have to figure these things out before you start getting into a real long-term relationship. You have to talk to your partner about these things, especially if it's not to your liking when it comes to the sex. Instead of getting mad at them or like, damn, or you now looking at other stuff, looking at other people, or you fantasizing about old flings you didn't had and how good it was, you wish you could do it, like, because everybody's mind's gonna go to that. If it's not good, they're gonna start thinking about all the people, not even all the people, it just could be a specific person that hit that spot for you, or just knew how to do it to you, or just knew how to get you in that mode and knew how to get you off. They're going to start thinking about that. Then that's when the mind starts wandering into other places. So it's important to talk to your partner about these things because of those reasons, so y'all can get on one accord and the same page. Or if it's things that you not into and they into and you don't want to do that, then y'all know that to let this person go find what they want and you go the other way as well. So when it comes to sex, that's very important, talking about those things in a relationship. Also, what leads up to that, the cheating is also neglecting your partner. So, say you're in a relationship for like, we could say 5-10 years, but sometimes people do it in the first year, the second year, after they really officially get the person they comfortable. They start neglecting their partner. When I say neglecting their partner, I mean they start neglecting their needs, start neglecting their wants, start neglecting them as a whole, just talking to them, the way they treat them, certain small little gestures that they would do for them, like nothing in the beginning, but then a year or two in, they just stop doing it, stop talking to them, stop rubbing on them, stop massaging them, stop sending them encouragement texts and stuff like that when they're having a bad day or they just have a good day. Stop listening to them when they had a bad day and they come home and they need to talk, or even over the phone. Those things, many other things, but that they start neglecting those things. And they just looking at it like, you annoying, you getting on my nerves, or whatever. She always want to do this, or he always want to do this and talk, and I don't want to hear that today. And you become more selfish because you're more comfortable with the person because you feel like you got them already and got to do all that. Which is why a lot of relationships fail too. And that leads to people getting the wandering eye, looking at other people, or even checking for other people that they know or used to talk to, and they go think about doing their own thing while they're still in a relationship, because people are not taking that serious about neglect, and that plays a major part in that too, with the being unfaithful, and why most relationships are failing. It's very important to still do those things, whether big or small, and a lot of times it's small things, but the small things count as big things as well. You have to continue to do those things. It doesn't matter if you 1 year in, 5 years in, 10 years in, 15. You have to still do those things that kept the relationship, because like I said before when I talked about stuff like this a while ago, yes, love is important. The affection is important. The chemistry, the bond, but you also want to keep that friendship level as well, because yes, the love is important, but a friendship in a relationship, and a friendship inside a relationship, keeps the foundation of it. So when the times when y'all getting on each other's nerves or just things are just off for a while and you just can't get along like I used to, you can fall back on the foundation of the friendship inside that relationship and find the reasons why you fell in love with this man or why you fell in love with this woman. You can find those answers because of that friendship foundation that holds the relationship up. So if everything goes falling, the love, the sex, the affection, the gestures, all that, boom, you're arguing, nothing's going right. You can always remember, well, damn, I remember when we was just cool and this person did this. I remember that moment they did that and that was one of the funniest moments of my life, or whatever the case is. You can always remember those things and y'all could share with each other or also bond with each other on those moments and build your way back up towards those things because you're finding out why I even was with each other in the first place or why I fell in love with each other in the first place. So it's always important to do those small things and don't neglect your partner of anything that you did for them like it was nothing in the beginning. So which brings to the next topic. Number 4. A lot of people are in relationships with people they should not be in relationships with. And when I say that, I'm not talking about in a point where somebody's too good for them. I'm talking about a point where they don't really like that person. They're not into that person at all. They just got with them for whatever reasons. Popularity, this, it was good for them. The person was treating them nice. So they was like, oh, okay, well, I'll try it out with them. And it's always going to end bad because if you're not into that person and they not it, it's not going to work. Or if that person is not into you, it's not going to work. If it's not, the relationship is not going to work long term. Which is going to lead to that cheating. Which is another reason why it's going to lead to that cheating. It's not going to work. And don't get me wrong, there's some people out there that even when you satisfying them and pleasing them, they just going to cheat anyway. So there's people out there like that too. They just going to do their thing regardless. But I'm talking about people that's really committed to you. And these things are happening, which is making their mind start shifting into that temptation realm because you neglect the needs. Damn, cat hair everywhere. You neglect the needs. You neglecting the relationship. You're not doing the same things. All those things that could make the person start looking elsewhere and getting that wondering eye. So a lot of people got to check themselves and be like, am I really into this person? Or is this person really into me genuinely? Because there's no sense of being with somebody that don't like you. Like, I don't know why people do that. And there's a lot of people that do that. And sometimes I guess it's a fear of being lonely or a fear of being of unwanted, or trying to make the person prove to them that you could be likable. I guess those are reasons why. There's probably other reasons, but a lot of times people don't want to be alone. They want to try harder to make the person think they're likable or lovable, and it's not going to work. Because if somebody's into you from the jump, they will like you. There's cases where some people be like, oh, I hated that person, and then as they got to hang around them and got to know them, they changed their perspective because they thought they was one way, but they actually were this way, really. So they got to know them, actually. So yeah, that's definitely important. Don't be with somebody if you're not into them, or don't be with somebody if they're not into you. So which brings me to my last point, which is very important. And I made a mistake like this before in the past, which led me to doing cheating before. If you're not unhappy, if you're not unhappy, if you are unhappy and you're not satisfied with your partner in a relationship, it's just not clicking, you're just not getting along, or it's too much stress for you, you just can't focus, you're just all over the place, you're losing yourself, you're depressed or whatever the case, or you're just not happy, please sit down with your partner and talk to them about that and see where y'all can change things, or the things that you don't like that they do, or things that you do that they don't like. You have to talk about these things, and everybody has to put their ego to the side and sit at the table like big kids and talk about these things, because it can make a difference. Because if everybody's just fighting and doing this, nothing gets solved. But if we could put our egos and everything to the side and sit at the table like grown people and actually listen, not just hear you, listen to what you said and taking it in and actually digesting it, then everybody can figure out why those things are happening, why you're not getting along. And then y'all could figure out ways to help change those things or figure it out. And if you can't, then you both know that you might have to go separate ways, because it's only going to get worse if y'all can't. If y'all talked about things, y'all still can't find a way for y'all to coexist or to do those things, to make the changes to do those things. It's going to be very bad. And I've been in situations like that. So it's always good to, and a lot of people, when they're unhappy or this, this, that, and the third happens in relationships, or or even marriages where they feel like the person is not, into them as much, or they just not bonding like they used to. They just been separate or just over each other, but they still married or still in a relationship. It makes people also start looking and going elsewhere. And like I said, some people have a fear of leaving. Maybe it's because of safety reasons, security reasons, not wanting to feel lonely or unwanted. There's different reasons. So you always want to talk to the person before you even start looking or doing those things elsewhere. You always want to talk to them and let them know what you feeling. Hey, I'm unhappy. I've been unhappy for a while. I feel like we just don't get along. I feel like you don't hear me, or I feel like, or the person may tell you they feel like you don't hear them, and you have to figure it out. And if you can't, then y'all just go your separate ways. But if you can, y'all could talk about these things at the big table with each other, like kids, like grown people, and y'all could figure out what can y'all do differently. So that's all the things that I had really to talk about when it came to relationships, sex, and being unfaithful. And these are things, like I said, in relationships you have to, or even just not even when you're in a relationship, when you're working your way towards someone you want to be in a relationship with, you have to lay things on the table and figure out what they want, what do you want, what they don't like, what they do like, what type of relationship they want, or even if they even want a relationship, period. So you have to figure those things out, and you have to not even figure them out. You have to talk about them first with them, and then figure out what you're gonna do if you hear stuff you don't like and you don't agree with. Yeah, man, the camera had cut off because I had to clear out some memory. But yeah, basically I was saying before it cut off, just figure out what you want before you jump into a relationship, and talk to the person. Figure out what they want, and just make sure you tap into those things before you get into it, and then down the line, y'all both start finding out stuff that y'all don't agree with and y'all don't want. So just make sure y'all talk about those things, and when you are in your relationship, make sure you talk about things regarding sex and things that they like and things that you like, and especially when it's not the way you want it or the way they want it. So figure those things out too. So let me get out of there before I run out of space, because this video was longer than what I expected. So keep rocking out, keep doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Stay blessed, stay masked up, and stay optimistic, stay goal oriented. And like I always say, whether we walk, sprint, run, or crawl, we still got to get to our destination somehow. So peace, blessings, much respect, and to the next topic. Peace.
Break it down. Break it down, roll it, light it, spark it, ignite it, but don't fight it. Break it down, roll it, light it, spark it, ignite it, but don't fight it. Now I lay low on weekends, diving off the deep end. I don't have no friends, I can't lie or pretend. Late nights I'm wishing.